Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So this is part 2 of the Tamiya 58322, which is the Tamiya Honda Mugen Castrol Mugen NSX, like a touring car. So I've had this for ages. I've done everything in my power not to do this. I've tried to sell it in bits and I just don't want to do it. I don't know why, it's just quite a tricky shell. Anyway, no one wants to buy it, so I need to do it. So if you watched the first video, or one of the videos I did, you see the first shell I got, I made a mistake on and I put the body post holes in completely wrong spot. So we've got a new shell to put on. Everything's original on this apart from the shell, but in Hong Kong they still race these. So they've got some pretty much identical replica or reproduction shells for them, with all the detail that the original had. Just doesn't have the body post holes. So we need to get cracking. So first step is to get the new shell out and get it cut. Then we'll take a lot more time and maybe I don't know, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get the holes in the right position this time. Right, let's get cracking. So as always with touring car shells, I get a big pair of scissors first and I just cut round the thicker polycarbonate at the bottom. And once I've got that off, I go to the sort of fine modelling scissors to cut the correct lines. So wheel arches are not my favourite, I must admit, but you just got to take your time, go slowly. So right, let's get cracking. Right, we've got the body mounted. It's not perfect, which I'm a bit disappointed. It's slightly out. I think it's one of those things, it's because I know it's slightly out, so it's kind of standing out a little bit, but I think when it's finished, and there's some things I want to do with the wheels, I want to pack the rear wheels out because there's quite a bit of space on either side. Anyway, that's all stuff to do with future. So I cut the body posts right down. I've left the backs with a little bit of adjustment. The front's solid because that goes right down to as far as it can on the car, and the wheels have got plenty of room to turn. So far so good. So I think the next thing is I'll mount the plastic. So on this particular car we have this really cool spoiler that goes on the back. There's some mirrors and there's some like these plastic wing spoilers that go on the front on either corner. So I think we'll mount them now, and then we'll have a look at it from there. Right guys, as you can see it's mounted. Load of messing around. I hate touring cars, and it's not a genuine Tamiya shell, so you kind of got to make it fit. And I've kind of bodged this a little bit to make it fit. The spoiler's not fastened down. It looks okay, so I've placed the mirrors on. The plastic front bits I'm going to end up gluing on onto the decals, which is not ideal at all. But the plastics I've got, and you can't get any more, they're really old, and on two different ones are not taking a screw, which is a shame, and they're going brittle. So anyway, I'll end up gluing them on. I'll see how it looks with them off, and then obviously we'll deal with that when it's finished. But I've had to, this is now just a display model only. It free wheels and everything, but I've had to pack the wheels out to fill the arches up more, which is crap. So it's still on the 12mm hexes, but I've probably moved it. I don't know, 12mm hex will be like 6mm. I've probably taken half of that up with spacers, but it does look better now. It is filling them out. It's a 190mm body as well. I know you can get longer arms and stuff, but I'm too much messing around. I just want to get shut of this car. I've also took the front shocks off, and I've put some rubber on the inside. So I took the piston out, put some rubber in as a spacer to sit it lower. I needed to drop it on the front end, and there's no adjustment on these wishbones. So the back, I mean the suspension's there, it all works, there's plenty of movement, but I had to make it sit lower slightly on the front, and I'm reasonably happy with that, and the wheels don't touch. I'm at that stage now where I'm debating. I've got these really rare decals which you just cannot get a hold of, and I'm debating whether I really continue with this. Because if this body's out in dimensions, which there's a chance it could be, these decals might not fit as they should. Or do I just bite the bullet and just get on with it? Obviously I'm going to get on with it. So, next stage now is, I also found out, I made that hole nice and tight, on purpose. This fancy spoiler it has here, it's got lots of different wings on it. And it goes a gloss red. And obviously there's decals to take off of it, clean it. But I found out that there's a bit of masking to do. This section here has to be all black, which is nice. So it's not just a straightforward spraying that up, but that's no biggie. So it looks great, I think. The body shell's got plenty of detail on it, and I know for a fact that the guys do race these things, and all the correct lines and what have you are there. Anyway, I'm gibbering on slightly now, but right, let's get cracking with next bit, which is what. So we've got next stage is get the window masks in, and then we've got some fancy masking to do because the roof's green, the front spoiler's green, and there's a back section that's green, and then the rest of the car's black and the spoiler's red. So window masks. Anyway, I'll figure that out as I'm masking, so let's get cracking. Right, we're back. Sorry about all the pictures, but this has just taken so long. I couldn't even do it in time lapse. And when you, and maybe this is just me, but when I'm doing like time lapse video and it's something tricky, I kind of rush it because I'm kind of concentrating on the video and I shouldn't do that. So I just went to pictures. Anyway, that's all the painting finished. So I'm really happy with it. So I've got the wheels done now. The standard wheels come with these two like spoke decals on the decal sheet, but I had some Michelin tyre decals left over, which this car really needs. So I've done all four like that, so that looks pretty cool. The mirrors were white, they're now black, new decals in, and it has this, I don't know what you call them, wing spoilers. They're supposed to screw in from the inside, but the shot, when I tried to fit them yesterday before I painted it, it cracked, so I've had to super glue one. But basically that kind of goes there, so I'm going to have to kind of glue that once the decals are on. If it's not going to be possible when the decals are on, I won't bother, but it really does need them on, but we'll see. But I'll leave that to the end. The spoiler was a mission. It's come up a lovely nice gloss red, but I didn't realise when I started it that the bottom half of it's black. So it was a massive masking job to get it right. I just need to touch these corners up, but I'll do that when it's mounted. But it's come out a treat. And then that's the shell itself, which I've just taken a protective cover off. So I wasn't too concerned about this line because there's a decal that goes across this line. So I just got it as straight as I could, but obviously the green to black is separated by decal. We like that. So that bit's turned out well. The roof looks great, it's a nice bright green. I've gone a little bit different on mine. You were supposed to mask this little corner out here, and that little, well, these two little triangles were supposed to be black. There may well be a decal for it, I'm not sure. I'm hoping not, because I just think it looks better with the green sort of taking its natural course. So yeah, that's worked out. And then the back end I'm particularly happy with, because that had to be cock on. Now it's not 100%, it's not built by Mr. TAMIYA himself, but it's not bad for me. So I need to let this harden now, really, before I start. I might put a few decals on. The decals are an absolute mission. There's the numbered and there's 2 sheets, and it goes up to about 90, number 90. So it's going to be, it's going to take a while. I think what I'll do now is I'll just build the car back up, and we'll get everything on it, and then we'll stick it on the chassis, and then we'll probably just leave it for a bit to properly harden, and then we might just start doing some decals. Again, I'm probably going to go to pictures on decals because there's no point time-lapsing it. Just to give you an idea of what this is, you get like a decal instructions with it. That's the first sheet, which goes to goes up to what, about number 30. That's kind of your basic car decals, window frames, lights, that kind of stuff. So that's a fair bit of work in itself. But then we have this, which is the main decal sheet. Now I've cut a couple of the spoiler ones out because I was just going to mess around and do those. But a lot of these are have got the little black lines in between, which means you cut them in one and then you trim. So let me give you a. So this one here, from a distance, it looks like that's just separate, but all this here is one decal. So the idea is you cut round it, and then where these lines are, you cut right down here, but you keep it in one piece, and then it'll wrap around the body, and it'll give the spaces between the decals will be cock on. So that's a little bit less work because it's not individual, but I'm probably going to have to get the hot hairdryer out to make sure I can get bendish around the corners and what have you. So I'm still a little bit, I'm not worried as such, but obviously it's a repo shell. The TAMIYA window masks I used were absolutely cock on the sides and the back. I found, or in my opinion, the front one was slightly too big, so I used this shell comes with window masks, I used that on the front. So, but looking at it now, it might have actually gone a bit further because I sort of did the window here, but I guess the mask could have turned back up on this ridge. It doesn't really matter because it's covered with decals. So yeah, I'm just a bit wary to make sure everything's going to line up. So it's going to be one decal at a time, cut it out, and then just put one on at a time. It's going to take forever, but we've got this far with it now, so there's no point rushing it. So right, I'll get all the stuff on the car and then I'll come back and I'll show you it. And that's it. Looks pretty good. One of the things, I say it all the time, every time, these things are never finished until you put the very last decal on. You always think, it's not quite right, and then by the time you get that last decal on, it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. Colours are great. One thing I didn't say, these are quite rare. And I'm not too sure why. It wasn't a limited edition or anything. It's definitely by far one of the greatest looking TAMIYA touring cars, whatever it is, GTA car, whatever, ever made, without a doubt. I mean, that's just not my opinion. A lot of people say that. But I do wonder if, because it's so difficult to finish, if that's why you don't see many about. And I don't blame people for it because it is a mission. I'm half decent at this stuff, no expert by any means, but I found this difficult. Anyway, as you can see, I've just got to be gentle with it. It's so low because I've obviously lowered it, but yeah, it looks great. It really comes alive when you stick it on the car with the wheels and that spoiler. I would have kind of liked a whole wing to be red, I think. Too late now though. So yes, very happy. Oh sorry, that's what I was going to say. yeah, when I was looking on like Google for pictures on finishing it and stuff, I noticed that some of the greens people use look really dark and they don't really sort of match the wheels, and that's because they've not followed the Tamiya instructions. Now, and I can understand this, so Tamiya state clearly you must mask the green first and then paint the black. And the reason being, of course, is so you don't go over the green with black, because it makes it a lot darker. So that's why the pictures I have seen on Google and what have you, the green is a lot darker. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't look nearly as good. It needs to be this bright green. So anyway, we're happy with that. I'm going to have a rest now. Right, so I'll go back to pictures now and we'll get the decals on bit by bit. 2 hours in, well, about an hour and a half. Absolute nightmare. The decals, whether they've been stored wrong or it's just age has got to them, but they're not, well, they're not very sticky, which is a real problem on these thin ones. The good news is, because it's a repo shell, everything's lining up perfectly. So I've got all the window ones done now. The back's got like a fancy, but all lines up. These lines are a bit crappy, I must admit. Not a lot I can do about them. But anyway, we've got all that lined up. So these little bits that are coming off, when it's finished, I'll leave it for a bit and then I'll have to just put a tad of glue down. It's funny, I mean, I went to follow these instructions, but it's a nightmare. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of doing it step by step. You've got to be so careful because things overlap on them. I was going to start at front end, so I put these black ones on, but there's this big thing here to go on, and it just looks an absolute nightmare. So I'm just going with the easy stuff to get rid of quite a few decals. So I've got that. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the roof decals, and then what I might do, well, we'll see, but I'll probably end up putting the stripes on the back first, but as I say, we'll play it by ear. Right, that's it for now. That's the back finished. That's quite straightforward. Again, I don't know what I'm going to have to do with this in the future, because these decals, or some of the decals, are not sitting, so I'm going to have to stick them down, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet because I've got too much on. That's the back end, little sticker there, and then we've just started the front with the stripes, and they all line up perfectly, but you see that, look, lifting, just not enough adhesive. It's definitely an age thing, definitely, which is really unfortunate, and it's looking great as well, it really is. Anyway, so next stage is we're going to put these big ones down the side and then right round to the back, which is going to be fun. Anyway, let's get cracking. Right, that's the side ones on. Ain't getting any easier. This one here just won't stick down at all, but that's where the mirror goes, so that's going to help me. What I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to go over, I'll leave it till the morning and then go over it. This one's the same, just lifting, and I'll have to go over it in the morning with super glue. Right, let's keep going. Right, next quick update. I don't know what my last video was, but the back end, all the flames are on now. And sorry if I'm repeating myself, but not getting easier. Looks great from a distance. I'm expecting to wake up in the morning and the shell will be back to black. Looks cool, but I'll just keep saying a lot more work to do. Right, now we've got this horrible front end to do, which I put off. So we've got this thing to wrap round. It ain't going to wrap round anything, is it? And then we've got these side bits. So this goes, the joining line from the green to the black, that covers that. And then obviously, I think it's, which way around? I think Oh, I've no idea. Anyway, let's get cracking. Right guys, that's it finished. 24 hours later, finished it late last night. I was a bit pissed off with it, as you can tell, because of these decals. So, obviously the decals have stuck, but all the edges, or quite a lot of the edges, are lifted. Anyway, I went on my Facebook group and told them what had happened, and they suggested getting a hot air gun or a hot hairdryer and going over it, because apparently it reactivates the adhesive with heat. Never done that. I've been really fortunate and I've never had bad decals ever. So this is really good news. So what we'll do now is we'll give it a go. I'll do it on this front one where it's lifting. Apparently you just heat it up, and then once it's got some heat in it, you press it flat with your finger as it's cooling, and that does the trick. So let's give that a go. Right, so this is what the decals look like at the moment. 24 hours after putting them on. It's quite difficult to see in the light, but you see here, see that? If you just run your finger over the top, you know, you could flick that decal off dead easy. It didn't fasten down, and here it's lifted, lifted. That's okay. They're lifted slightly, but the side ones are pretty bad. These ones here is all lifted. Look at that. So anyway, we'll take the spoiler and the mirrors off, and we'll get a hairdryer on it. I think first one we'll just do this front one here, because this just didn't stick well at all, and as you can see, it's coming off. So let's just heat this up and we'll see what happens. Guys, that's the car finished. I put all the plastics back on, so every decal on it has been done with the hairdryer, hot air. It's absolutely, it's been like 2 hours now since I did it, and everything is absolutely stuck down. All the ridges are done. You run your fingers over it, there's nothing lifted, and yesterday you couldn't have done that because you'd have just lifted everything. Even did the wheels, I did the tyres, those 2 spoke decals. They were the first ones I put on, but and they were sliding on that plastic. But as I say, blasted them with heat, tucked them round, and they've even folded round the spokes, which is absolutely awesome. This was a complete mess round the fuel tank. All this wouldn't sit flat, and it was all lifted here. I'm blown away, absolutely cock on. And she's done, thank goodness. It looks stunning. Yesterday, I would have never thought I'd have had it looking like this with the decals all finished off. I'm absolutely blown away by the hot air thing. You're never too old to learn new tricks, and I certainly have. So it literally took me 10 minutes to go around the full car. I ended up, I did the spoiler, I did the wheels, because the wheel decals were the first things I noticed. As soon as I cut them out and I went to stick them on, they were just sliding. They don't budge now, and they're bent around the spokes. Absolutely made up. So this is definitely one off my bucket list. This is a Tamiya that I always wanted, and you just don't see many. There's a new in-box one on eBay as we speak, which is very rare, for about £380. It's like $500. Crazy money. Again, I understand why you don't see many box art. We don't see many at all, but you certainly don't see many box art. That's quite a mission of the cutting, the painting, the masking, the painting, and then the decals. If this was just a kit you bought and you didn't have much experience, you'd be pretty stuffed. Anyway, it's done. I've added the little white spoiler plastic mounts now, so I'm absolutely made up. Really chuffed with it. It's absolutely stunning. It really does need the Tamiya cockpit set with a single driver in it. Either they do one in the middle, or they do left or right hand drive. It could really do with one of those just to finish it off, and it'd fill all this space. And the body's just flaring out either side slightly, so it'd be really nice. I don't know if the cockpit, if you did it with Velcro, you might better bring those in slightly, and it would look even better. It'll just tuck the rear arches in line. Well, that's not a biggie. I know you can do that with tape as well. Anyway, that's been a hell of a video to make. I don't know how long this video is, but it's taken like 3 days to do it. Oh, done. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching. It's much appreciated. If you're new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us, that would be awesome. And most of all, guys, happy arseing.